We begin your TV6 Early News with a TV6 First Alert Day for portions of Upper Michigan. First Alert meteorologist Noel Navarro is tracking incoming snow tonight.
This is a live look over Houghton, where it's been snowing for most of the day. Your TV6 Early News begins now.
From Upper Michigan's source, this is your TV6 Early News.
Good evening to you. I'm Grace Blair.
And I'm Vinny Lavia. On this First Alert Wednesday, we're focused on snow totals across Upper Michigan.
First Alert meteorologist Noel Navarro is here sharing with us which areas will be most impacted. Noel.
Grace and Vinny, the impacted areas will be along the western and eastern UP, specifically the northwest wind snow belts, which is why we're still seeing winter storm warnings in effect from Gogebic County to the Keweenaw, Alger County through Luce County. As we take it to your satellite and radar, removing the alerts there on the map. There is a small scale feature, a low pressure system that's been spinning, a lower one that usually covers a state on the map. Well, it's just covering a portion of Lake Superior. It's northeast of Grand Island, and that circulation brings some heavy bands of snow to the M28 corridor and even M94 towards Shingleton. Some of this snow is making its way south of Munising and south of Chatham at this hour on the M35 on the way to Masonville and into Gladstone Rapid River. So Forsyth Township southeast towards Rock, there could be some areas that are slippery brought about by that snow. Here's M28 Old Golf Course Road east of Christmas in Alger County. So you're dealing with some quickly accumulating snow and also poor visibilities as it's flying around from our west through northwest winds. It's low pressure and it continues to fall at this hour over in Christmas. Meanwhile in Marquette, we caught a good break of snow. There is snow in the forecast, but light to moderate doses instead of the heavy wallop that we're experiencing, especially east and west at this time. So Marquette, pretty good for some shopping tonight and going out for dinner at 20 degrees. Have a good one still. Here's your snowfall reports. We're keeping an eye on this. These are morning reports, mind you. So Twin Lakes, 8.5 inches. We could be getting the double digits as of this evening. We'll keep you posted on this, but our First Alert weather day continues Thursday, mainly for western and eastern Upper Michigan, and could continue towards the eastern UP into Thursday night. And it's not just the snow we're worried about. First Alert weather day Thursday also covers a bone-chilling wind chill. We'll show you where coming up next in your full forecast. Vinny, Grace?
Thanks for continuing to track that for us, Noel. Snow continues to fall in the western UP during the winter storm that is expected to run until tomorrow morning.
The City of Houghton Police Department is asking drivers to keep several things in mind as they drive on the road at this time. The police say they are surprised at the lack of snow-affected car crashes or injuries so far this year and are hoping to keep it this way. During the weather, the department asks you to be patient with other drivers, leave early to go somewhere, and be especially cautious on the Upper Loop and downhill streets in town.
You got to take a little more time when you're going to work. Take the roundabout ways a little safer and just drive slow. And if it's that bad out, please just stay home. Don't go on the roads.
Roberts asked the community to not get angry at plow drivers and to have patience as they do their job. He adds to also be mindful of your health when shoveling the snow away.
Law enforcement, meanwhile, broke the ice and sharpened their rescuing skills in Marquette today. The Marquette County Sheriff's Office dive team practiced surface ice rescues at Clark Lambros Park. The all-day training started with a classroom trainings lesson and moved to a pond where members broke ice for a practical exercise. Lieutenant Eero Lukarainen says the team tries to train a few times per year. He says no ice is safe ice.
The ice is starting to thicken up a little bit, but it's still very unsafe at this time. So make sure you use caution and be prepared. Use an ice spud. Make sure you dress appropriately. Use a personal flotation device.
Rescuers practiced with a rapid deployment craft. The inflatable boat allows more rescue personnel to cross the ice and provides a stable platform for rescuers to hoist people out of the water.
Upers might brag about withstanding the cold, but experts say hypothermia is a concern everyone should prepare for. TV6's Julia Seitz asked experts to show symptoms and how to protect yourself from frigid temperatures.
As the UP expects frigid temperatures tomorrow, hypothermia becomes a real danger. Dr. Sean Brown says you won't get hypothermia if you're playing outside and dressed properly, but you need to worry if you're stuck in emergency situations.
Oftentimes it's folks who deal with homelessness, who just don't have a safe shelter to go to during the winter months, or folks who become intoxicated and pass out on the street somewhere and aren't found until hours later.
She says you'll start feeling cold and become inactive if you're experiencing hypothermia. Brown says in more serious cases of hypothermia, individuals may start feeling hot and start taking off their protective layers out in the cold.
It's a really unusual situation where we find folks who have frozen to death from hypothermia who are lying naked in a bush somewhere because they've felt like they were too hot and got all their clothes off.
Many Yoopers go outside for winter fun, but Marquette County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Eero Luukarainen says you should always be ready for the cold.
Where we live, hypothermia can onset very quickly, so you want to make sure you are prepared. And the weather can be nice, and then the temperatures can drop rapidly.
He says to check the forecast before going anywhere, dress in layers, and have a survival pack.
The best thing you can do is protect all your skin from exposure with the wind and the cold and the rain or wetness. And always tell someone where you're going, what time you're going to be back.
He says if it's too cold for outside fun, you should consider indoor activities. Julia Seitz, TV6 News, Marquette.
Thank you, Julia. In continuing coverage, the Copperwood Mine Project took a step forward this morning. Members of the Appropriations Committee in the Michigan House approved $50 million in fund reallocation for the project. TV6 senior reporter Jerry Tudor shares what those opposed to the project say, as well as the next steps for Copperwood in the legislature.
Legislative transfer request 2025-2 and 2025-3 is approved.
With a vote of 17-9, with 3 members abstaining, the Michigan House Appropriations Committee approved the transfer of $50 million to Highland Copper. Highland Copper is the Canadian company behind the Copperwood Mine Project. That project seeks to build a copper mine in the western UP, 14 miles north of Wakefield in Gogebic County. During the meeting, people spoke both in favor and in opposition to the project. Michigan resident Jermaine Finley spoke in opposition to the project, citing environmental concerns and urging lawmakers to deny the request.
So this is a pristine area, as everybody has mentioned. It's a huge concern to many people. This room would be filled with more people if the knowledge that this had been happening was more widespread, that the vote.
InvestUP CEO Marty Fatanti spoke during the meeting in favor of the project, citing the need for jobs in the area. Fatanti says a national pollster was hired to poll the western UP community for the past 3 years.
There is overwhelming community support for this project. 77 to 89% of local residents have consistently expressed that support.
The group Protect the Porkies is opposed to the Copperwood Mine Project. One member says when mining companies leave, it hurts the UP economy.
Then they leave behind the ecosystem devastated, and they leave behind a void in the economy. So the argument is frequently made that the UP is poor and so it needs this mine, but the UP is poor precisely because of this boom and bust cycle.
Fatanti says the area is in need of good-paying jobs.
Of a neighboring community in Ontonagon, 80% of those school children are now gone over the past 50 years. It's because there are not good-paying jobs. That same community no longer has a hospital. Its present economic structure does not work.
If approved by a Senate committee, the money will go towards infrastructure improvements on the site, such as increasing access, water and wastewater, water quality analysis, and increased power reliability. Jerry Tudor, TV6 News.
Thank you, Jerry. This year's Lake Superior Performance Rally is in the history books, but new information on the economic impact of the event has now come out. The race is now headquartered in Marquette. It's round 7 of the American Rally Association National Championship Series. This year, the Lake Superior Community Partnership released an economic impact study. It shows the event contributed $4.7 million to the local economy with more than 3,600 attendees.
You know, a lot of it is lodging, between the hotels in town, Airbnbs outside of town. Obviously, we do bring a lot of people to the area. Fuel, is over $500,000 in fuel to the area. And then obviously food and snacks and all of that. So, but I mean, even above and beyond, based on our survey, brought over $300,000 to the local shops and stores.
This was the 4th year back for the LSPR, and the event has grown each year.
Still to come on your TV6 Early News.
During Christmas, people will get animals like puppies or kittens as gifts. However, there are multiple reasons that may not be the best idea. I'm TV6's Tristan Kendrick, and coming up, I'll guide you through the best strategies for buying animals.
And later, Tinseltown is returning to downtown Negaunee. What you can find at the new Gingerbread Lane.
Tonight, new alleged evidence in the CEO murder case as police reveal fingerprint matches and what they've learned from the possible murder weapon. Also, lawmakers demanding action over growing drone sightings. Should they be shot down? When we see you tonight.
And coming up tonight on your TV6 Late News, a place to stay warm if you have nowhere else to go. How Marquette's Room at the Inn Warming Center is stepping up to help with frigid wind chills on the horizon. That's here on TV6 at 11:10 Central.
From your trusted news source, this is your TV6 Early News with Grace Blair, Vinny Lavia, First Alert meteorologist Noel Lamar, and Sports Director Kevin McNulty.
During this holiday season, many people give animals a gift. However, this may not be the best idea.
That's right. TV6's Tristan Kendrick spoke with 2 pet care providers. He tells us other things you can do instead of getting a pet and how to stay safe from puppy scams.
Giving a dog or cat like this as a gift may seem ideal. However, pet experts warn it's a risky choice. The Delta Animal Shelter in Wells Township says not everyone is prepared to care for an animal. It offers alternatives.
You could get them, like buy them a t-shirt from their local shelter. When your kids are home from college, bring them to volunteer for a couple days. Get them pay for their adoption fee and give them a gift card. And then down the road when they're settled and they're ready to adopt an animal, that will already be paid for.
Bruce also says, unfortunately, most animals bought as gifts are returned months later.
People need to realize, it takes a while for animals to settle in and get comfortable in a new environment.
This season is also a time for scammers. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel gave a warning this week about puppy scammers. Scammers will mislead you by falsifying vaccination records and advertising puppies that do not exist. The Upper Peninsula Animal Welfare Shelter in Sands Township recently talked to a customer who fell victim to this scam.
On a place on Facebook that claimed to be like a kitten breeder based out of Chicago. They ended up paying a down payment towards it. They were supposed to ship it up here. When that day came, they said that it was going to be $500 for the airfare. They wanted it in PlayStation gift cards, so that's another huge red flag. No matter what type of gift card it is, any place that's asking you for gift cards is usually a scam.
Pet care professionals say it's always best to get an animal from a shelter, not from a random person online. Tristan Kendrick, TV6 News.
Thank you, Tristan. Tonight's snow will stick around for some tomorrow, and then the cold sets in. Noelle is next with your first alert forecast.
But first, from Wall Street, the stock market was led by tech stocks today as investors are looking for hopeful interest rate cuts next week. The Dow dropped 99 points while the Nasdaq increased 348 points.
First Alert Weather with meteorologist Noelle Navarro.
Welcome back, everybody. Lake effect snow continues to fall across portions of upper Michigan, undetected for most around the western UP. It is falling at this hour for some spots, especially in the Copper Country. We're also getting an example of the power of the Great Lakes, making their own weather systems. A smaller scale low pressure system north of Grand Island that is enhancing the lake effect snow bands moving across Alger County at this hour. Heavy bands east of Munising as you get to M28 along that scenic stretch, M94 Shingleton. This is where we're getting the example of the hazards to deal with along the western eastern UP tonight through Thursday. This is the Alger Schoolcraft County line south of Shingleton. Heavy snow coming down and the wind just whipping it around there and reducing visibilities to near zero. It's a northeast wind at this hour, but we're going to look at the northwest wind to continue the lake effect, heavy lake effect snow bands for the eastern counties, Alger to Luce County, continuing on until Thursday night. So your first alert weather day could extend towards Thursday night out in the eastern UP, but for Thursday morning from Gogebic County to Keweenaw, Baraga counties, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Marquette County, it had been reduced or we downgraded that. It was a winter storm warning earlier. National Weather Service has brought it down to a winter weather advisory because we caught a break earlier today. There's going to be some light to moderate snow in Marquette County, moderate to heavy for the western and eastern UP, with those winds gusting near 40 miles per hour, getting to gale force near the Great Lakes shores, and then also constituting a first alert weather day for Thursday morning, the interior west, when wind chills could fall to minus 20s, even minus 30 cannot be ruled out. So lake effect snow across the northwest wind belts east and west. continuing on through the overnight hours. As we get into the early morning hours of your Thursday, some of that energy making a push southward down towards the US 2 corridor and over into Nema Junction and Manistee, and some of them getting to the Wisconsin border too. We're also getting colder. Some lows around the single digits below the zero there for the western interior to start your Thursday. We'll expect the snow to start tapering out west, lifting northeast, but could still continue to fall in heavy doses towards Whitefish Point for the afternoon. But we're starting to clear out with the clouds too. So we're only going to be settling with this wintry chill into Friday morning into the single digits below zero, could be teens below zero for some areas along the Wisconsin border for Friday morning. Future snowfall as we get towards your Thursday morning, 4 to 10 inches possible along the Gogebic-Ontonagon County line, and then 1 to 3 inches for the city of Marquette. So it's just light, occasional, moderate until you head east of Marquette. There's that bullseye of purple. Yes, there's a possibility of 18 inches or more of snowfall, especially around the northern Schoolcraft County line, Shingleton, over into Alger County Central. Now we got to pay attention too to the future wind chills. It could be -20, Iron River -25. I can't rule out -30 for tomorrow morning along the interior west. That's why we had to call up the first alert weather day for the morning as well for those areas, because that would mean a frostbite risk at 30 minutes or less. So feeling wintry to close out the work and school week in your TV6 first alert weather 7-day forecast, but then less wintry because there could be some highs reaching 40 degrees Sunday and Monday. But the precipitation that comes along with it will be that messy mix of rain, ice, and snow. So we got to watch out for slushy, icy spots for this weekend again.
Yes, more wintry hazards on the roads for us. Thanks for timing it all out for us, Noel.
Yeah.
And sports is next with TV6's Kevin McNulty.
What's ahead tonight?
Hey guys, coming up after the break, how Michigan Tech hockey is balancing finals week with their preparation for Bemidji State and a massive game in Detroit this Sunday between the Lions and Bills. We'll talk about it next.
TV6 Sports with Sports Director Kevin McNulty.
Michigan Tech hockey is gearing up to hit the road to Bemidji and take on the Beavers this weekend. But like a lot of college teams this time of year, the Huskies are also focused on their final exams right now. Tech's coming off a weekend split with St. Thomas last weekend at home. And head coach Joe Shawn says it's been a light week for the players, taking Monday off as they try to balance exams with preparation for their final CCHA series of 2024. Most of the off-ice work will be handled on the road.
You know, it's always a grind. Guys' brains aren't often, they come to the rink trying to turn it on, but you know, they're not always there. So it was get on, get off, try to keep it as simple as possible, and we'll do our prep and stuff, our video and everything when we get on the road and can spend more time with them.
Puck drops between the Huskies and Beavers Friday at 8:07 Eastern Time. Well, yesterday a pair of NMU women's soccer players were named All-Americans, and today Northern Volleyball's all-time kills leader Jackie Smith was named an American Volleyball Coaches Association Honorable Mention All-American for the second time in her storied career. She previously received the honor in 2022. The last season she was really fully healthy. Smith led the Wildcats to a 20-9 record, earning all GLIAC first team honors for the 5th straight season and finishing her career with an insurmountable amount of kills, 1,927 in total. Well, it's a big game at Ford Field this Sunday, maybe a Super Bowl preview. And thinking back to the Lions game against the Packers on Thursday, nothing has come easy for Detroit, even during this 11-game winning streak. Think about the NFC. The Eagles and the Vikings are right on their tail with 2 losses on the season. It's actually the first time since 1986 that 3 teams in the same conference all have 11-plus wins through 14 weeks of this season. Dan Campbell says he likes how they're already in playoff mode.
Is there a benefit? Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a benefit. I mean, I mentioned this last week. I feel like we are in playoff football in a sense. And, you know, I know that we got in, but this is about more than that. You know, we've given ourselves an opportunity postseason, which is great, man. It's all you need. And so we've got that. But man, anytime you play, you know, the best of the best competition, you can't help but get better. And whatever it takes to win those games, you learn how to win those games. You learn a new way to win. Like we had to grind some things out the other day, you know.
The Bills and Lions, 2 of the 4 teams to already clinch playoff spots. The Bills winners in the AFC East. And that matchup will kick off at 4:25 Eastern at Ford Field this Sunday. Looking forward to it, and we'll have the highlights on your late news Sunday night. Grace and Vinny are back right after the break.
Finally tonight, the Negaunee Downtown Development Authority is celebrating the season by adding something new to a holiday tradition.
This weekend marks the return of Tinseltown, the annual holiday celebration in downtown Negaunee. As always, the event features a Christmas parade and tree lighting ceremony, a craft show, a visit from Santa, and miniature horse rides. Brand new this year is Gingerbread Lane, a display of lights and a gingerbread village that sits along Rail Street. Negaunee City Manager says they've been working hard to have it up and running soon.
Invite people to come on out and experience this for yourself. It's a nice display to see during the daytime. It'll be even better at night when the lights are up, and we hope to have everything up and running by this Friday.
Tinseltown is on Saturday, starting at 4 in the afternoon in downtown Negaunee. Looks like a great time out there.
It does, although maybe a little chilly, Noel.
I know, and looking tasty. I'm unleashing my inner Cody, getting hungry looking at those tasty gingerbread houses.
As always.
As always.
That's all for your TV6 Early News. Join us here at TV6 News tonight in 30 minutes.
NBC Nightly News is next. Thank you for trusting us to be part of your day.